Welcome to the FBLA Foundations module. This is the level 2 module. There is a level 1, but this is level 2. Alright, so in this tutorial, I want to walk you through the module to explain to you guys exactly what I want for you to do for each one of the assignments. Remember, the way that you get to your module content in Canvas is by going to modules on the left-hand side and locating the name of the module, which is FBLA Foundations Level 2, and then selecting the Pages option. Once you click on Pages, you will see your content. In this case, there are 8 pages of content, and you can just click through and read everything carefully. That's very important. Read everything carefully. So in this module, FBLA, we're going to be looking at a couple different things. We're going to be looking at teamwork as well as planning and decision making, also professional appearance, and the role of FBLA officers. Also, we're going to take a look at how being involved in FBLA will lead you down a path of success. So make sure you read the objectives as well as the key terms for the module. Remember, the key terms are very important. You need to not only know the definitions, but it's always a good idea to know how to use each term in a sentence. So read through each one of those vocabulary words carefully. Our first assignment is the FBLA discussion. Remember, in order to get to the discussions, you're going to select modules over on the left side in Canvas, and then locate the name of the module, and then drop down to the name of the discussion. So here you're able to respond to the original question. Remember, you want to give thorough responses when you're replying, and then you also have to respond to 2 classmates. The small link that you see at the bottom gives you a detailed overview of what's expected of you, because you do have to add a resource to each one of your replies to classmates. A resource is simply going to be an image or a link to a different website or video. So please check out the small link for more details on what's required. So let's take a look at what you're going to do for this discussion. So in the content, as well as in the discussion area itself, there's going to be a link. The link is going to take you to some Georgia FBLA projects. Okay, these are projects that your local chapter can participate in. So as you go through the projects, you need to learn about each project by reading through them. The projects are divided into 3 different sections. You have service, you have education, and you have progress. What you want to do is you want to select a project that you are most interested in. You want to describe how you would support the project as a member, or you can talk about how you will possibly lead the team in implementing one of the projects in your local community or at school. Okay, so go through the list of projects and choose one that you're interested in and respond to the discussion question. And again, remember, you do need to reply to 2 classmates. Let's take a look at the FBLA Emerging Business Issues assignment. Now, sometimes this assignment gives students some issues, so let's take a close look at what you have to do. So it says there are numerous FBLA competitive events that focus on teamwork, planning, and involve decision-making elements. What you're going to have to do is to review the competitive events guidelines for emerging business issues in the sidebar. Now, I went ahead and I took a screenshot of those guidelines, so you see the guidelines here below. And next it tells you to write a summary of elements of the performance guidelines that relate to the planning and decision-making process. So think back to the decision-making process that you've learned about, and kind of keep that in mind as you are writing your summary. Next, you want to refer to the 2017 topic described in the Emerging Business Issues Performance Guidelines. That information is listed right here. It says, discuss the issues surrounding cloud computing in relation to storage, access, and security. Be prepared to argue the affirmative, that cloud computing would positively answer the demand for instantaneous information. So you want to be able to argue for this issue as well as against the issue, because it also says be prepared to argue the negative down there at the bottom. Okay, so you want to argue for both sides. So if we jump back up here to the instructions, remember it says write a summary of elements of the performance guidelines that relate to the planning and decision making process. These are your performance guidelines, so you need to make sure that you read through those carefully. And then it says describe a process you would use to prepare and respond to the topic situation. So here's your topic situation. How would you prepare or how would you respond to this situation? So that is what you want to talk about in your summary. So in the content, refer back to the 5 basic strategic management steps in the planning cycle. So look at your content, look at all of the resources that you have, and then write your summary. All right, remember anytime you're using a word processing document, you still need to provide the appropriate headings and you still need to use MLA format. When you're done with the assignment, you want to submit it to the appropriate Dropbox. So of course you're going to go to modules within Canvas, go to the FBLA module and scroll down to locate the emerging business issues assignment. All right, next up we have the effective leadership skills project. So it says in this module, you have gained insight into a number of important skills necessary to become an effective leader. So for this assignment, you want to display or showcase your knowledge of what you've learned about becoming an effective leader. You're going to create a presentation to showcase this information. This is going to be information on teamwork, planning and decision making, as well as professional appearance. So I want you to create a presentation and you're going to discuss the elements of how these skills can help you to become an effective FBLA member or an effective FBLA officer. Some other elements that you want to make sure you include are a title page. You're going to also need to have at least 6 additional content slides, and you can read to see what those content slides should consist of. You also need to make sure that you include information on how these leadership skills impact someone's ability as an FBLA officer or member. Make sure you include 3 graphics or images as well as a reference slide, or it's also known as a works cited slide. Make sure that your resources are cited in MLA format, okay? There are a couple different Chrome extensions that you can use that will automatically cite your sources for you in that format. All right, make sure your presentation is visually appealing and free from errors. So that means you need to proofread and you need to include slide design or a theme. You can also utilize another form of software besides PowerPoint. You can use PowerPoint, Google Slides, Prezi, Haiku Deck, Keynote, Emaze. Now, Keynote is for Mac users, but these other tools anyone can use, so you don't necessarily have to stick with the regular PowerPoint presentation, but you can if you want. To turn in your PowerPoint presentation or your project, I should say, make sure you locate the Modules tab in Canvas and then the name of the module, FBLA, and locate the assignment so that you can attach your work. Lastly, you have the FBLA Foundations quiz. Within this quiz, you have 10 multiple choice questions. You're going to get 35 minutes to complete your quiz. Just make sure that you review all of the content, assignments, and discussions before taking the test. Again, to locate this, you're going to select modules, locate the FBLA module, and then locate the FBLA Skills to Become an Effective Leader quiz. I always like to remind you guys to locate my checklist. Okay, the checklist is very important. If you click on the Home tab and then select Class Resources, you will locate or you will be able to find my course checklist. This checklist is very important because it's going to be your guide to completing all of your assignments correctly and on time. So there's a column to see what assignments you have to complete. as well as a column to see what assignments you don't need to complete that are omitted from the course. Also, you have the due date column where you can put the assignment due date as well as the date that you completed the assignment when you've done so. Please make sure that you are using this checklist. You want to print it out, look at it every single day to make sure that you meet these deadlines. As a reminder, anytime you see handouts or other resources in the content, please click on those. Also, if you see any rubrics within the content, please make sure you follow those guidelines to ensure that you are receiving the full credit for your work. This concludes the video tutorial for the FBLA Level 2 module. If you guys have any further questions, please reach out to me and I will assist. Thanks.